Okay, welcome. Excited to chat today with Carmen Jochmann. Carmen is an angel therapy practitioner, a Reiki master, and an energy healer. And she is my kind of go-to girl for all things wanting to clear the house when I've got kind of bad energy moving around, or whether my energy is just kind of stuck, or what I need to do. So I'm going to bring Carmen in today to help us, give us the how-tos on terms of clearing the energy of our home. So Carmen, first of all, why would we want to do this, and how do we know we need to do it?
Okay. The reason you want to clear the energy in your home is because, as we know, we're all energy, right? So we're constantly attracting other energies to us, consciously and subconsciously. So when we're going in and out of our homes, we're bringing that energy back into our homes. And sometimes it's energy that we don't want to stay, right? So that energy over time can build up. It can build up in the home, just like your dust can build in the corner and on your shelves. That negative energy that has come in can build and build and build. So it's important to clear your home on a regular basis to eliminate that, so you can basically maintain your own sacred space. You notice that it is time to do that when, you know how sometimes you feel like the energy in your house feels heavy or sticky. There are also certain times when, if there's been an argument in the home or some kind of discord, you want to clear that energy out right away. So there's the practice of clearing the energy in the house on a regular basis. And then there's also the practice of clearing the energy when you do have like a traumatic event or some kind of upheaval.
Okay, and so if you're noticing like the kids are fighting a lot, or there's something going on, or there's just like a major interaction, or just so on a maintenance level, like when you're bringing stuff into the home, how often does that typically kind of build up? Is there any guidelines for that, or?
It depends. There's a couple of things to consider. So it depends on yourself personally and how where you're at in your spiritual journey and the vibration that you're vibrating at, because those of us who are more open and empathetic, we tend to attract stuff much more quickly, right? The other thing is, if you're somebody who interacts with other people a lot, whether you're a life coach or a spiritual healer yourself, or even, if you in another form of work, you are in contact with people on a large amount of people on a regular basis, then you want to clear. I personally clear my house once a week, right? And that's because there's a lot of energy going on in here. But for the average person in general, usually I suggest about once a month at the minimum.
Okay.
And then, of course, if you feel that there are things going on in the home, like I said, if you feel that the energy is heavier, or you're just really aggravated and you don't know why, or not only if an argument has taken place, but if you're noticing that arguments are taking place that don't usually happen, that is another sign that energy needs to be cleared. So once a month is a good rule of thumb, but then if you notice things happening, then I would definitely get your smudging kit out and do a round.
And so arguments, and also just in terms of your own like personal energy or your desire to get things done, is that another sign?
It is. And actually, you can also notice signs physically in your body, because if you typically have a sore back and it hasn't bothered you for ages, and then all of a sudden it is, and it's consistently bothering you, that could be a sign that you need to clear in your home. If you feel really out of sorts, or really moody or irritated, that is also a sign, not only that you need to clear your home, but clear yourself as well.
Okay. And so how do we do it? Like, how would you go about, what are the steps that people need, or the things that they need to do this?
Okay. The best and quickest way is using sage. And sage, there's two kinds. This one is a desert sage stick, but you could also find white sage, which is very common. And so basically what you do is you literally light the end of your sage stick and you let it, you don't want it flaming, but you want it to be smoking. Okay. And then you literally go around the home and smudge the home. Now, the best place to start is in the basement because, or your lowest level, because when you start at the lowest level, the energy moves up,
Okay.
right? The other thing you want to do is make sure that you have a window cracked open on the uppermost level so that as the energy is going up and out, it has somewhere to go out of the home.
Okay.
Now, there's no wrong way to smudge, to go around with your smudge sticks. Some people simply just walk around the perimeter of their home in every room. I personally have been taught to do a method where you trace the wall in each room. So basically all 4 walls. And even if you're in a room where if the wall is not completed, you would trace that wall as if it was there. So you would basically trace the rectangle along the ceiling, down the side, along the floor, and then back up again. And then you do an X across the ceiling, and that kind of like finishes off the room. And I do that in each room. But like I said, there's no wrong way to do it. Some people do just walk around the house, going around the perimeter. One thing that's really important when you are smudging is the intention. So you want to set the intention that things are moving out, things that no longer serve you are leaving. Some people do say a few words, say a little mantra as they go around. You don't have to, but that supports your intention and just intensifies the experience a little bit if you choose to do so.
So mantra might sound something like, my intention is to clear the space, or my intention is to let go of or what kind of thing would you?
Yeah, it could be basically you want to say, my intention is to release any and all negative energies and entities in our home that no longer serve me or my family, right? Because you want to include all the members of your household because everybody's affected by the energies. And then if you want to add on another piece to it, you could then say, and I invite in only benevolent energy, angels, positive energy into our home that benefit us and our highest good. I mean, that's pretty long and fancy, but
Something to that effect, yeah.
you can edit it to do a short version. But basically, what you want to have in there is I want whatever's not serving me and the members of my home to leave.
Right.
And I welcome and encourage in positive energies that do benefit our highest good to come in.
Okay.
So
yeah, so it's not all energy isn't bad, right? So there is positive.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then once you smudge, what you want to do is then do the same thing again with a piece of Palo Santo, because Palo Santo, the sage does the cleansing piece, but it's always important to then nourish after you have cleansed. So the Palo Santo is the cleansing piece. So you would do the same thing again, starting in the lowest level and walk around the perimeter of your home. Again, you could do the rectangle squares method that I usually do, but you can just simply walk around the perimeter, and you would do that in every room all the way up till you get to the upper level.
And same thing, you'd light the end of the Palo Santo just till it's smoking.
Yes. Now the trick with the Palo Santo, because it is actually a wooden piece, you want to light that and let it burn for a little bit. You actually want it to flame up and then blow it out, because it is trickier to keep it smoking than the sage, just because of the consistency of what the material is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then anything else?
Well, then the third piece, if you have time and would like to, you could then go around using sweetgrass around the home. Same process, starting on the lowest level, and then going around the perimeter. Sweetgrass is similar to sage, so it's easier to light and get smoking as compared to the Palo Santo. But the purpose of the sweetgrass is that it welcomes in those positive energies that you would like, and it also sustains the whole smudging process.
Okay, so makes it last a little longer.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
great. Depending on how big your house it is, that can be helpful. And then one thing I've heard too is to do it after you've like cleaned, like physically clean the house to emotionally or energetically clean. Is that good to link those two together?
It is good to link those two together. Usually what I recommend is that you do your smudging process first and then do the physical cleaning second.
Oh, okay.
Because when you do the smudging, you stir stuff up, right? Both energetically and if you're walking through the dust cloud. But it helps get rid of any residue if you do the physical cleaning after the smudging process.
Okay, good to know.
Mhm.
I'm doing that wrong. And then anything else? So we can do them like with the actual entities, but then there's also some essential oils that can help us with this as well.
Correct. Yeah. So if for whatever reason you don't have sage, or someone in your home doesn't like the smoke, or you can even do this in your office. So if you're in an office space and you really feel like the energy needs to be cleared there, but you can't really go in waving a sage stick around
Right.
for, A, people might think you're a bit off, or B, you might set off the smoke alarm, right? So you can diffuse different essential oils instead. So in place of the sage, you can diffuse lemongrass,
Okay.
and you would diffuse that for 8 hours in each room of your home. So it's a longer process, but it's still effective. And if you only have one diffuser, then you basically would be moving the diffuser around to every room
Mhm.
and have it diffuse for 8 hours in each room. But this is where it's nice if you have multiple diffusers, then you can have them running
Right.
in each of those spaces, and it'll go faster. Then for the Palo Santo, you can use frankincense
Okay.
instead. You don't have to diffuse that one for as long. That the frankincense only needs to diffuse in each room for 4 hours instead of 8.
Right.
So it's a little bit faster.
Right.
And then if you want to do the sweetgrass piece, you can use both Roman chamomile and tangerine together.
Oh, okay.
We'll put those both in the diffuser. And again, it would just be 4 hours in each room. And that will replace the use of the sweetgrass.
And equal amounts of chamomile and tangerine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So depending on how big your diffuser is, it might be a couple drops or it might be more type thing.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Any other little tips that you have for us on clearing that energy from the home?
Um, the only thing I would add is that if you are new to smudging and clearing your home and you haven't done it before, to just take notice of the difference in the energy and how you feel. Because after you have smudged or completed the smudging process, you will notice that things feel lighter. You'll experience more flow, not only in the home, but in your life, because the smudging process brings things back to balance. Right, that's the intention. So it's not just to get rid of the negative energies and entities and that kind of junk that's building up in the home, but it is to bring things back to balance so that you feel good, happy, safe in your home, right? Because your home really is your sanctuary, and you want to feel good there.
Good. All right. So then we can, add in as our little monthly thing or more frequently if someone is, feeling the effects of it more.
That's right.
Within
Exactly.
maybe every 2 weeks when you do a clean or whatever that is.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Carmen, for sharing your wisdom with us.
You're very welcome.
And we'll put some on the blog post connected to this. We'll put some of those summaries of the things that we're suggesting, and we'll include a link of how to get a hold of Carmen if you have some questions on what to do or if things aren't flowing well in your home.
Yes. Well, and I also have an online course, The Art of Smudging, which goes through the basics of everything. It even goes into a little bit about the history of smudging and why, or where it's come from, which is of interest to some people. And then it adds in another layer too. You can also use crystals with your smudging, and it explains what crystals are beneficial for that and how you would add those in as well.
Excellent. So we'll include a link to that so people can go further with this and get more of the precise how-tos.
Exactly.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Carmen, for sharing.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.